Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally turning a corner.
Could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did.
Zero members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Kelsey Plum.
Why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose?
Kelsey Plum blows the lid off the joint, letting us all in on a small secret.
The WNBA All-Star press conference was designed to be a grand declaration, a moment of pure unity, a vibrant celebration of women's basketball at its peak. It was supposed to be a shining platform for growth, solidarity, and the powerful message that these athletes deserved more. But the very second Los Angeles Sparks star Kelsey Plum opened her mouth, that meticulously crafted image shattered into 1,000 pieces. With one bizarre comment, delivered with a dismissive chuckle, Plum didn't just call out Caitlin Clark, she attempted to humiliate her openly on national television. And while Clark herself stayed quiet in that moment, what she eventually said, indirectly, has left everyone absolutely stunned, exposing a deeper, more troubling rift that threatens to define the league's most pivotal era. If you're on Caitlin's side in this unprecedented feud, make sure to drop Team CC in the comments right now.
Pay us what you owe us. And of course, everybody clowned that.
The backdrop to this All-Star Weekend drama was, ironically, a collective push for change. WNBA players have long fought for better compensation, fairer working conditions, and a larger piece of the financial pie. The now viral "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts worn by All-Stars during warm-ups were meant to be a powerful symbol of this fight. And it's a valid fight. Compared to other major professional sports, WNBA players receive a significantly smaller percentage of league revenue, around 9.3% compared to the NBA, NFL, and NHL, where players take home roughly 50%. For years, the league was seen as operating at a loss, but recent developments, including a massive new media rights deal and escalating franchise expansion fees, suggest the WNBA is finally on the cusp of true profitability. Fans initially cheered this unified stand, seeing it as a long overdue demand for respect. But what most didn't know was that this seemingly organic display of unity had a hidden agenda, a calculating whisper of exclusion behind the scenes.
Huddle in that last timeout, and even before Stephanie White came in, Caitlin Clark got in there like a coach, not just psyching up her teammates, but literally telling everyone, especially because a lot of the bench players are in right now, where to go, what to do, who to cover. It was pretty impressive, and then Stephanie, of course, stepped right in with the X's and O's.
Just before the storm truly broke, the biggest name in the game, Caitlin Clark, was a notable absentee from the All-Star event. She was sidelined, recovering from a groin injury, putting her out of the immediate drama. Her absence should have been the end of her involvement in All-Star Weekend headlines. But fate, or perhaps intention, had other plans. The "Pay Us What You Owe Us" protest, we later learned, wasn't some spontaneous locker room decision. It was meticulously planned that very morning in a private meeting. Kelsey Plum herself, addressing the press alongside Sabrina Ionescu, called it a very powerful moment. She claimed it was a genuine surprise to most players, who all decided to pull this off together in that special morning session. Everything seemed to be flowing smoothly. Then, Plum detonated the entire message and the spirit of unity with one careless, pointed sentence.
Kelsey Plum decided to give some backstory about these shirts, and she took a shot at Caitlin Clark.
She said,
not to tattletale, but zero members of Team Clark were very present for that.
She decided to give a backstory on the shirts, and then, without warning, took a calculated shot at Caitlin Clark. Not to tattletale, she giggled, a hint of malice in her voice. But zero members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Ionescu did not like this shit, by the way. I give her credit because she was like, oh boy. I mean, it was ridiculous, but here we go.
The words hung in the air, heavy and awkward. The room instantly went silent, palpable tension replacing the celebratory mood. Sabrina Ionescu, sitting right next to Plum, couldn't hide her reaction. Her visible discomfort, the deep eye rolls she served up, spoke volumes, echoing the sentiment of millions of viewers watching at home. What began as a subtle jab, a seemingly off-the-cuff remark, ignited one of the pettiest, most public feuds in WNBA history. Plum
that it's got Kelsey Plum going viral, and it's got the people that hate Caitlin Clark using it as a way to hate Caitlin Clark.
Later tried to backtrack, attempting to dismiss her comment as just trying to make light of the situation. But nobody was buying it. Nobody was laughing. This joke didn't just fall flat, it backfired spectacularly, going instantly viral and arming Clark's existing haters with fresh ammunition, transforming a collective call for pay equity into an ugly, personal attack. Clark, who was literally minding her own business, focused on recovery, was suddenly and unfairly thrust into the very center of a league-wide division. This wasn't just a misstep or a clumsy attempt at humor. The question lingered. Was it truly a coincidence that Team Clark missed the all-important meeting for the Pay Us shirts? Consider the glaring disconnect. Caitlin Clark is, undeniably, the biggest draw the WNBA has ever seen, attracting millions of new fans, driving unprecedented ticket sales and viewership. Yet, the players tasked with leading a unified message of financial empowerment apparently excluded her and her team from a critical strategic discussion. This wasn't some minor oversight. It points to a deeper, more insidious issue within the league: blatant, burning jealousy. Veteran players, accustomed to a certain pecking order and a slower pace of growth, appear threatened by Clark's meteoric rise and the undeniable attention she commands. It suggests a fear that her success will overshadow theirs, rather than recognizing it as a rising tide that lifts all boats. The public reaction was immediate and ferocious. Social media didn't just blow up, it went absolutely nuclear. But the explosion wasn't in Plum's favor. Instead of sparking support for the Pay Us message, the controversy triggered a massive backlash against those perceived as attacking Clark. Fans, already weary of the constant physicality, often interpreted as dirty plays, and the junior high mentality displayed by some players, began to view the protest as performative, even hypocritical. They slammed the league for its perceived double standard, demanding respect and fair pay while openly disrespecting the very players single-handedly driving their visibility and financial growth. Viewers, many of them new to the WNBA because of Clark, expressed frustration at the league's apparent inability to embrace its own greatest asset, threatening to abandon the sport if the negativity continued. But while the firestorm raged, Clark herself remained conspicuously silent. And her silence, in that moment, screamed louder than anything Kelsey Plum or any other critic could have possibly uttered. Clark was watching, she was observing, and when she finally responded, she didn't just clap back with a fiery statement or a public denouncement. She delivered a masterclass in strategic retaliation, flipping the entire narrative on its head with a single, devastatingly brilliant move. The takedown came quietly, almost imperceptibly, under an Instagram post. Kelsey Plum, likely basking in the glow of her All-Star performance and her powerful protest, had shared a photo from the game, probably expecting nothing but adoration. But Clark stole the spotlight there too, with just 6 words under that photo. "Thank you for the Nike ad." The internet absolutely went feral. For those in the know, this wasn't just a comment. It was a mic drop heard around the world. Here's why it was so impactful. Kelsey Plum is a prominent Under Armour athlete, one of their key faces. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, signed a historic multi-million-dollar deal with Nike, which reportedly includes a signature shoe and substantial royalties. By posting a photo of Clark prominently wearing Nike gear, Plum had, entirely by accident, turned her own social media platform into free, high-value promotion for her biggest competitor's brand. It was a blunder of epic proportions. This moment brilliantly illustrated the difference between Clark and her detractors. Clark plays chess, others are stuck playing checkers. She doesn't need to argue on television or call a press conference. She doesn't even need to tag her rivals. She simply reminds everyone, without uttering it aloud, that she operates on a different level, a level where her numbers, her endorsements, and her undeniable influence speak louder than any noise. And those numbers? They are simply undeniable. The Caitlin Clark effect is a quantifiable phenomenon, a seismic shift in the WNBA's trajectory. When news broke that Clark would miss the All-Star game due to injury, ticket prices for her games, and for the event itself, plummeted by a shocking 50%. Think about that. With just one player out, the market crashed. That's not just popularity, that's unprecedented power. The statistics paint an even clearer picture. The WNBA has seen massive jumps in viewership, with games on ESPN reportedly increasing by 170%, reaching 1.2 million viewers. Average game attendance has skyrocketed by over 300% since her arrival, with her Indiana Fever team consistently selling out arenas across the country. Her jersey became the top-selling in the WNBA, surpassing all others. Experts now estimate Clark's presence is responsible for a significant percentage of the league's entire revenue, generating millions in additional ticket sales alone. Yet despite this undeniable impact, many players continue to seemingly ice her out, mock her, and even attempt to alienate her fans, sometimes with thinly veiled accusations of racism. The hypocrisy is glaring. You can't actively undermine your biggest asset, refuse to acknowledge her immense contribution, and then demand to cash in on her jersey sales and the revenue she generates. The WNBA now stands at a critical crossroads, facing a stark choice that will define its future. The All-Star incident, with all its petty drama and exposed jealousies, isn't just a blip. It's a symptom of a deeper struggle within the league. While players are rightly advocating for a better collective bargaining agreement, demanding a fairer share of the burgeoning revenue, the internal divisions threaten to derail their progress. Discussions are ongoing, with the players' union and the league currently far apart on key issues, and talk of a potential walkout if demands aren't met. This comes at a precarious time, with new expansion teams set to join the league. Can the WNBA overcome its internal divisions and fully embrace the unprecedented growth Caitlin Clark brings? Or will it allow resentment and petty grudges to derail its most promising era? Former NBA legends have weighed in, universally condemning the treatment of Clark, understanding that true stars must be protected, not picked apart. The path is clear. You can't continue to bite the hand that's literally feeding your league, driving its viewership, and securing its future. Caitlin Clark isn't merely a player in the WNBA, she is, without hyperbole, the league's headline act, its most potent draw, and its undeniable engine for growth. You cannot manufacture hype. You cannot protest your way into star power. Caitlin Clark earned hers through sheer talent, dedication, and an electric charisma that transcends the sport. And now, while others are preoccupied with trivial beefs and misplaced grievances, she continues to stack wins, endorsements, and airtime. The WNBA has a massive, undeniable problem on its hands, not because Caitlin Clark gets too much attention, but because without her, there simply isn't enough. They've demanded what they're owed, but perhaps it's time they truly ask themselves why those checks don't arrive when she's not on the court. Will the WNBA finally acknowledge the hand that feeds it, or will it continue to bite the very source of its blossoming success, risking its newfound momentum and returning to the shadows? The future of women's professional basketball may very well hinge on that choice. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analyses like this. You won't want to miss what's coming next.